But can U.S. Foods become a food company, not just a distributor, but become a company that actually provides brand new items that no one else can get from any place else? And if they choose to buy those products, they have to buy them from your company. Now that can be a hook. First in food, second to none became our tagline for our company and for all of our associates. And we launched waves of new products that they could not get, a customer could not get from anybody else but U.S. Foods. We decided that there were three things that we needed to focus on as an organization. But to simplify it, determining how we were going to win. How are you going to win with your career and where you take your career? It's no different than in a business. What are our leverage points? What are we going to do? How do we win day in and day out? We decided that we will win with great food. We're a food company. We distribute food products. We're going to have the very best convenient products that can't be gotten from anybody else but our company. Creating differentiation in a competitive marketplace. How do we differentiate ourselves? Well, this is where engaging and enabling communities of food people, social media, connecting chefs together. How do we market differently? And I'll show you some of our marketing collateral in a minute. How do we get the chefs and our company collaboratively working together to find solutions for their restaurant operations? People define who our organization is, and we will be differentiated by the great people and how we connect with our customers. And then lastly, what do we do daily just to compete? This is where it's the commodity business. What are the things that we just do because if we don't do them, we'll get thrown out of an account? What is just expected? If you're an accountant, being a CPA is kind of the table stakes to working in a public accounting firm. You have to have a CPA certification because you can't sign returns and so forth without it. You got to compete. You got to have that. Then how do you differentiate yourself, and then how do you win? And these are some of the materials that we went to market with after we defined what we were going to win, differentiate, and compete with. On the left, we win with great food. These are our materials that are launching of our new products, exclusively from our company. And then the U.S. Foods Next Top product was a social media campaign we ran across America, where people would go to restaurants and they would vote, and chefs across America competed to create a new item, voted on Facebook. The top winners were brought to Chicago. We did an Iron Chefs competition, and the chef that won their new product, we purchased from them. We took it to manufacturing, and we took it to market. And they won, and we gave them a whole bunch of marketing and news coverage within their local marketplace to help drive traffic to the restaurant, something that had never been done in the industry before. We went out and sustainable seafood and some of the other items that are very important to restaurant operators today in the youthful generation. We created a magazine for the first time targeted directly to restaurant operators. It's how we connect with our customers very differently than anybody else in the industry. And then compete by making it easy. We've got a bunch of products and materials that we do from an e-commerce perspective that we can now connect in with our customers and help them understand how their food costs are. When I talk about food costs, what it costs to run their operation, and also what they should be thinking about buying from us. And technology can now allow us to do that as we're building into the company in a very easy way. I told you earlier about our experience with the IBM XT or the compact sewing machine that we would carry around. This is now what we can use for order entry. Our sales force can go out and add to the orders. Ultimately, our customers will be using an iPhone or an iPad. Very lightweight, very easy to use. You guys are familiar with that technology. And we have now put this out, and we'll launch in March on all these devices so that our customers have a much easier experience with us and being able to build orders, and it's easier for our sales force as well. Little known fact. Folks in this room that grew up with technology, I always wondered why when I have a problem with my phone, I throw it to my 16-year-old and he immediately can solve it and give it back to me, and I feel like, how'd that happen? He just thinks like how that device needs to operate. Because all of you grew up in the computer generation with technology and texting, we all text. fast rate of speed. My son used to sit at dinner table and just go like this. Say, I can text just, I didn't have to look at it. Yeah, I didn't have to look at it. Just send a message just like this. Your ability to multitask, your brains are actually now, because you started it at such a young age, your brains are actually wired a little differently than mine is. So for me to go and do it's very difficult, but for you, it's much more natural that you can do those things. It actually has affected the way that your brain developed because of the age in which you started using technology. That's one of the things that we take into consideration when we think about the things that we roll out in the future for our customers. You're our customer. You will ultimately be using our technology, but we have to make it so that it resonates with you. And ultimately, through e-commerce, technology, great food products, and easy, we want to become the Amazon of food service. We want to connect with our customers using technology differently than anybody else in the industry. And I will tell you, as we've headed out on this journey, it has really resonated with our customer base. So change is fast coming. If you want to create differentiation, you have to go ask your customers or ask your future employees what it is that's important to them. And you have to create a game plan around how you're going to leverage that so that your business can be successful or that you can be successful. Now, I have a video that I'm going to show you that I think brings a lot of the change it did for me. I mean, this whole experience of coming and talking to you has been a moment for me of reflection. Over 27 years of what has changed in my personal life, my business life, and in industry in general. This video I'd like to show you, I showed to my sales force. We have 5,000 sellers across America. It really resonated with them because it made them sit back and think in terms of what the future is going to be and where we have come from. So with that, would you go ahead and let's roll this video. And some of you may have seen this in the past, but I wanted to share this with you. I thought it was interesting. I hope you'll find it to be the same. That happens to be my experience. Technologies of today didn't exist 27 years ago. And you know, we're truly living in exponential times, is the way that I like to describe it. You know, I started out in a career in accounting. I ended up 17 years ago moving into general management, fell in love with it, and have been blessed with the opportunity to run small, medium, and large size organizations. Sales is a core centric thing that I do now. That's not something that when I embarked out of the university with a degree in accounting that I thought I would ultimately be overseeing 5,000 sellers across America. Things change, and you know, the point here is that your career, like mine, will probably end differently than it began. You saw the video, you'll have 10 to 14 different jobs by the time you're 38. That's an acceleration from my generation or my dad, who's 82, who went to work at one place and stayed there for his entire career, which used to be more of the norm. It won't be the norm for you. You'll constantly be reinventing yourself. Your personal competitiveness will require you to differentiate yourself. Companies have to always reinvent themselves to stay relevant. Constantly have to be thinking about the future. Constantly be in touch with their customers. What is the willingness to pay for you and for your company? As I look across all of you, as you think about your future, what is your point of differentiation? Creativity to problem solve. This is something that we always look for in new people that we hire. How creative are they, and can they solve real problems? Because that's what we do every day as managers and leaders. We have to solve the problems that are going on in the business in a real-time basis. Learning orientation. Being flexible. Change at an accelerating pace. Much more than I've ever experienced, you will experience, but it'll be very rewarding for all of you. And your career, at the end of the day, well, frankly, it'll be what you make of it. I never thought that 20 years would go so fast, and I think you'll find to be the same experience. I look at our company, and I think about how it's changed. When I went to work there, it was a $3 billion company, and now through all the aggregation, we're $21 billion. The change that's been in our industry over the last few years has been monumental, and that's why we had to go and do a differentiation strategy, because we knew that if we weren't different, then it would always come down to price, and price is not a really great place to be for any business. You want to have a different platform that you can sell to. So hopefully this has helped all of you think a little bit differently about your careers. Your career is not that different than actually running a business. And take this time that you're at this great institution, the one that I'm very grateful to have graduated from. Take your time and your experience here and leverage those moments and set yourself up for the trajectory that you want to have to achieve your dreams for your career and what you want to do for your ultimate family and the generation that comes after you for their kids as well. So I appreciate your time today, and if there are any questions that you may have from the audience, I'd be willing to take a couple, if there are any questions. No questions? Yeah, of course. So Norris asked, what are one of the biggest challenges that we went through in moving through the rebranding? I will tell you, it was change management with the associate group. You can never communicate enough, because whether it's a driver or a warehouse selector or a salesperson or a customer, they all have to understand the rationale and the reason why you're making this change. We had some associates that have been with the company 30 and 40 years, and they were really attached to the old name, the old colors and so forth, and they didn't really understand why we'd ever change that, because they were very loyal to that brand. Now you're changing what it looks like and what it stands for. So we really had to make the case for change, and we had to take that on a road show around America so that all of our people could understand why it is that we were doing what we were doing to the business. We brought all our salespeople in, 5,000 to Chicago, and we launched the brand so they could hear directly from us as leaders of the company as to why we did it. And subsequently, over the course of the last 18 months, about every 2 months we do a televised webcast across the company. So it's our ability as leaders to talk to all of the associates and the 25,000 associates across America and send them the messages to what it is that we're doing and where we stand within the transformation. We do it, we film in Chicago, and then we broadcast it across to all of our locations around the country so they can hear one singular message. I would have never guessed how much you have to communicate in the area of change management to get something to stick, particularly when it's monumental. It's changing the identity of the company and the direction of the strategy in which you're going to take on the marketplace. But you got to get everybody in the company moving in the same direction, or you just won't succeed at it. Yes? She asked, what is it that differentiates me from my peers on the executive team? We have a very diverse group of leaders that make up the executive team that I sit around with every Monday at a staff meeting. My boss, CEO, is from Canada. He came from a different industry in the retail business. We have a technology guy that has been unbelievable in developing some of the new internet and Facebook capabilities that we have in the company. He came from Citibank. He came from a completely different industry as well. He was one of the top IT guys at Citibank. Our operations guy came from Walgreens. So I run all the operations of the company, but I have a 20-year experience within the food service industry. So it's the blending of the new and the experience that allows us to be able to take the transformation and move it into the marketplace successfully. So working together. And that level of experience right now, I think, is what differentiates me from the other counterparts. They bring a completely new view to the industry. I bring a perspective of how we can make that all work within our industry, collectively together. And because I've had all these different roles in the company, I sort of know how the business, I have kind of the role of making it work across the U.S. Thanks for that question. Yes, ma'am. We do, actually. We provide, she asked if we provide to the U.S. military. We do a tremendous amount of business with the U.S. military, and we do a lot of government institutions, colleges, universities, schools, and so forth. But from a troop deployment perspective, a lot of the food that those troops eat will come from our organization. We have contracts with a lot of the military bases around the U.S. Yes, sir. Interestingly enough, that's a great question. Do we always meet as an executive team within the same room, or we use telepresence? We actually meet on Mondays. We make a commitment to each other as a leadership team that we'll be face up in our offices in Rosemont for that meeting. Now, after Monday at 6 o'clock, we go from 3 to 6 on Monday. After 6 o'clock, we all go our different directions and we head out across America. But we use video conferencing. We have it set up in every one of our operating companies around the U.S. And our board will meet periodically, probably 4 times a year. We will have video conference board meetings. So KKR will be on the West Coast, CD and I will be in New York, we'll be in Chicago, and we'll use that technology to connect us all together. It works spectacularly. It is, we've got a great system, and it is amazing how convenient that works. I've got 8 region presidents that run the country underneath me, and I'll do their personal reviews and so forth over video conference from my office in Chicago. Saves on air transportation. We don't burn up carbon doing that, and it's very fast and flexible. And they can be wherever they need to be across the country. We can connect using technology. So it's been a key enabler for the business. It's a big change from what we had 20 years ago. Max. Max asked a question about whether we operate internationally, whether that's a limiter, and what do we think about that in the future. Our perspective as a company has been that the distribution marketplace that we play in is a $200 billion marketplace. We have 10% share, so we have a lot of opportunity to grow domestically. I will tell you candidly that some of our largest customers are starting to ask us to go international because it's a global world. You think about hotel chains, they're up in Canada, they're in the Caribbean, and today we operate by doing some containerization and shipping to the Caribbean. So you'll see our products at certain hotels around the Caribbean when you're on vacation. But we have thought in terms of what we're going to do over the longer term. Probably have to have some partnerships. If we don't buy, we'll have to do some partnerships. It's becoming more and more of an international world, even in our business, because our customers are taking us there. Maybe time for one more question? There is one? Yes, ma'am. The question is, has the new green movement affected positively or negatively the types of foods that we offer? I will tell you, it has been incredibly impactful. I think it makes us better as a company. It has certainly changed. We now have a product innovation team that we have assembled in Chicago of chefs, product innovators, and so forth to help create these new items that I talked about that we take into the marketplace. Sustainability is one of the criteria that we're always looking at. And you talk about the ability to change the world and how young people will actually change the world. One of our core groups of customers are colleges and universities, hospital institutions. People at your age are asking for sustainable products. That goes into the universities then ask us to go find those products. And as a result, that is changing the face of how we do food service. Whether it's products that are grown locally, because that reduces the carbon footprint to get into the marketplace, or those that are sustainable, whether it's sustainable seafood, or if it's compostable products that are the throwaway items that you carry away items and so forth. What can we use there to be compostable? So it is very much at the forefront of what we're doing. It is, we have a whole strategy around product and product development. Sustainable products is one of the blocks in the strategy for becoming a great food company. So it's core and central to our strategy and how we move forward. So, Christine? I want to say thank you to all of you today. It's been a pleasure to be with you. And some of my former professors that I see out of the audience, thank you very much for what you've done for me in helping to launch my career. I hope this was helpful to you and how you think about your career. It will be what you make of it. And make it a good one. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy what you do, and thank you for the time today.
Thank you, Stuart. I know you guys all probably definitely learned something from his presentation. I know I did. One thing that we all students do know is that it's very competitive out there. Competitive for businesses, competitive to get jobs. So just make sure that you take a moment just to take advantage of the resources that that Business Week, the College of Business, and the university provide to you. And we also, as a token of our appreciation, we wanted to offer a gift to Stuart for his time in coming down here and speaking to us. Also, just as a reminder, if you'd like to ask Stuart a few more questions, you can go to the old main room, which is right across the hall, and we'll be having a reception there for the College of Business Alumni Network. Thank you, and have a great day.